Today we're talking about the new Netflix series, The Crew, starring Kevin James. So let's get started. Welcome, movie watchers. Thank you guys for stopping by my channel. If you guys love to watch movies and all things Netflix, you guys are in the right spot. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below and click that bell notification for more up and coming videos. Life in the garage goes off track for a NASCAR crew chief and his racing team when a new boss shakes things up. Question of the video: what is your favorite Kevin James performance? Let me know in the comment section down below, and there you can find out my answer. I enjoy Kevin James. I think that a lot of his roles are pretty silly when he teams up with his friends like Chris Rock and Adam Sandler and Rob Schneider and David Spade. He's just having a good time. I mean, he's not the best actor there is, but I do find him pretty funny. While being quarantined, I discovered his YouTube channel where he acts as the sound mic guy for various films like I Am Legend and A Star Is Born. And I thought it was pretty hilarious. So that gave me a new appreciation of Kevin James. And in this series, he acts as a NASCAR crew chief. In the first episode, his boss departs and he brings in his daughter to act as the new boss. So everything is being shaken up, and Kevin James, being the crew chief, and this new boss, they really don't see eye to eye. And over the 10 episodes, they really don't get along. I mean, they understand each other's jobs, but they aren't the best of friends and they don't have the best relationship. So it's really the boss on her side and then the crew chief and his racer and everybody else on this side. So everything just feels very distant from each other, and there's not really a strong connection between Kevin James' character Kevin and the boss as well. So we're struggling to have this solid relationship. I mean, a couple of times throughout the series, they say they don't hate each other, but they also don't have the best relationship, and they butt heads constantly. So the series is trying to develop this relationship and have these upbeat, hilarious moments. Deep down, they don't care about each other. So it's a struggle to watch this relationship. And then towards the end of the series, it's almost like it's going in reverse. They are kind of wiping away certain characters and changing the storyline to make it feel like it was like the first episode. We had this boss, he wanted to go to Hawaii and he brought in his daughter. Well, at the end of the series, it seems like it's backtracking a lot and going back to where it was in the beginning. So there's really not a lot of progression for the story as well. For a lot of these sitcoms filmed in front of a live audience, there's moments that are funny. There's moments that are just painfully awkward, and it has both. There are moments that I did laugh at. Kevin James is pretty funny in here. Some of the side characters like Amir, Beth, Chuck, and Jake, I did find to be pretty funny, and they all interacted nicely with each other. There's some pop culture references and some NASCAR jokes as well. I did laugh a lot throughout the series, but there's also moments where they're trying too hard to be funny and it's coming off so awkward. I mean, a lot of sitcoms are just like that, where you have the highs and the lows, and the crew is filled with highs and lows, and sometimes the lows are just painfully bad, and sometimes the highs are pretty funny. For a good amount of the episodes, I would say about 8 of them or so, they don't really have a solid storyline. It's just the crew chief and their daily work schedule and having this new boss. There's moments towards the beginning of this series where it seems like there could be an overarching storyline involving investors and the crew and a new racer, but it seems to forget certain storylines here and there, and certain storylines that seem like they could be pretty big seem very tame when there's potential to have a really good story within here. But the last couple episodes focus on Catherine and her job as the boss and how people are against her and wanting to bring in somebody new. And then she also wants to replace the driver Jake with a new driver named Jesse. So Jake and Jesse have this conflicting relationship as well. There are a lot of things that are just being shaken up in this crew. And it seems to be a little bit repetitive at times. We understand that they don't have the best relationship. We understand that everybody's kind of on opposing sides. But when you get to episode about 8, 9, and 10, it seems to kind of be going backwards a little bit with some of the characters and some of the status in the crew. But nonetheless, the crew with Kevin James, I think it's pretty funny. I mean, I laughed throughout. There's times where it's painfully boring, I will admit, but I was able to overlook that. I wish there was more of a solid storyline kind of sprinkled throughout the series, and the end seemed like it's the end of a series. The way that it wrapped up certain characters and had some end storylines. It seems something that you would expect from a series that was in its like 5th or 6th season that was coming to an end. That's how it felt at the end of this series. I think they should have took the characters in a different route instead of the way that they handled these characters at the end of this series. I'm gonna go ahead and give The Crew a B-. You guys seen The Crew on Netflix starring Kevin James? What do you guys think about it? Let me know in the comment section down below, and stay tuned for more up and coming Netflix content. My name is Justin Watches Movies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.